Hello everyone, welcome to Washington Gun Law TV. I am Washington Gun Law President William Kirk. Thanks for joining us. Hey, I'm here with Bruce Davis, the CEO of Guardian Arms over here in beautiful Moses Lake. And listen, a lot of you got really spun up about Washington's assault weapon ban, and for good reason. But many of you may not be aware of some of the real true impacts that this is having on small businesses, and ultimately, the impact that it's going to have on you and your ability to preserve your Second Amendment rights. So today, we're going to spend a few minutes, we're going to do a little business analysis, and we're going to talk about the real impact of Washington's assault weapon ban. Okay, so listen, here's what we're talking about. I've been over here in Moses Lake for the last couple days, hanging out with Edgar and my good friend here, Bruce Davis. He's the CEO of Guardian Arms. Bruce, say hi to everyone.
Hey everyone, how you doing?
Okay. Now, hey, listen, if you guys don't know where Guardian Arms is located, it is located right here in Moses Lake. And I do encourage all of you to stop on by when you're here, spend a little bit of money. Now, Bruce, this is what I want to kind of get my viewers to understand here is how these businesses work. Because I think a lot of people think that gun stores just print money, okay? And especially once we launched Washington Gun Law, I've gotten an opportunity to meet a lot of people, FFLs such as yourself in the business, and I've gotten a much better, clearer understanding of the business. And you guys are not rolling in money.
Definitely not. The profit margins in the gun store is not why we do this business. We do this because we are fundamentally, we love our Second Amendment freedoms.
Yeah.
And we enjoy the industry.
Well, and to give the viewers an understanding, because everything is about profit margin, okay? And since this is a relatively conservative audience that we have on Washington Gun Law, they will understand how businesses work, all right? And so, for example, when you and I, before we started shooting this video, I looked around, I said, hey, you're not selling any ammo here. Why is that?
The profit margin is just pennies on the dollar on ammo. And to compete with big box stores, I would have to dump tens of thousands of dollars in just to be able to bulk up on ammo.
Okay, so talking about profit margins, let's go back to probably one of the more commonly sold items here at the gun store, which would be handguns, right?
Yes, sir.
Now, tell me about the profit margin, if any, in handguns, though.
On a handgun, there's maybe an 8 to 10% profit margin if we're lucky.
Okay. In fact, before we started shooting this video, I said, hey, listen, if Guardian Arms sold 50 handguns in 1 month, which would be a good month for Guardian Arms, you know, you're in a small rural community, how much profit would you make on that?
Maybe $800 to $1,000.
Maybe $800 to $1,000. Okay, how much are you paying for rent here?
Our rent alone is over $1,000.
Okay, all right. Now, let's talk about long guns, okay? Rifles, shotguns, things like that. What kind of profit margin is actually built into the industry for long guns?
Well, with the long guns, we have a little bit better profit margin, maybe somewhere between 12 and 20%, depending on the actual long gun itself.
Okay, but let me ask you this. Now that we're not able to sell semi-automatic rifles, I'm assuming that the market, how many people are coming in here looking for a bolt action Lapua or something like that, is relatively limited, right?
Very limited.
Okay, all right. And was the profit margin when you could sell semi-automatic rifles roughly the same as what you were getting in bolt action rifles and things such as that?
A little bit better.
A little bit better, okay.
Definitely.
And of course, that stream of income has been completely stripped from you.
Yes.
Okay. Lower receivers. I know you, prior to the ban going into effect, you were blowing them out, so was every other FFL.
Right.
What about the profit margin that's built in on that for an FFL?
That's, depending on the lower receiver, it's probably similar to a long gun, somewhere between 12 and 15%. The biggest thing is parts.
Well, listen, that's a great segue to what I really wanted to talk about, which is the sale of parts, okay? Now, you and I had a conversation outside the Grant County Courthouse like over a month ago, and we had a discussion. And since that discussion, where does Guardian Arms come down on the sale of parts that would be used in AR, AK platforms and things such as that?
We 100% believe in selling parts other than the lower receiver. That's our understanding of it. There's no reason why we cannot sell all those other parts, because all those other parts combined do not make what they consider an assault weapon.
That's right. And so if you're looking for a new charging handle or a new barrel or a barrel shroud or any other component minus the lower receiver,
That's correct.
You could find that here at Guardian Arms.
Daily, every day.
Okay. And if a gun store such as yours, kind of a small box operation like this, was not able to at all sell parts, okay, you couldn't sell a muzzle brake, you couldn't sell a charging handle, you couldn't sell a barrel, do you have any chance of staying in business?
None whatsoever. That would definitely be a bankrupting environment.
Okay. And so you've made the choice that you believe both the law and business necessitates that you're going to continue to sell these parts.
Absolutely.
Okay. And you and I have discussed this, and I've told you, hey, I think you can do it. Okay. And I want to explain to the viewers why it is, especially for those of you in the FFL industry. Now, I recognize that some of you are going to disagree with my interpretation, and that we are welcome to that. And I also recognize that there are certain FFLs who have made themselves perhaps a little bit more notable to those in Olympia, and they may not want to stick their necks out, but everyone has to make the decision that is best for their particular business model. But when we take a look at the legislation which was passed, as it relates to parts, the actual language of the statute reads, a conversion kit, part, or combination of parts from which an assault weapon can be assembled or from which a firearm can be converted into an assault weapon if those parts are in the possession or under the control of the same person. So as you and I began to talk about that, it would seem that any combination of parts from which an assault weapon could be assembled from would be unlawful. But there is only one part from which an assault weapon, or any weapon for that matter, any firearm for that matter, can be assembled from. And that is?
The lower receiver.
Okay. So I'm assuming that if someone walks into Guardian Arms to buy a lower receiver,
The answer is no.
the answer is no. You don't even have one here for sale, do you?
No.
Okay. Okay, now Bruce, as we know, there were a lot of people, and I do mean a lot of people in this state, that went out and bought a bunch of lower receivers before the ban went into effect, and they're just sitting around in boxes, and they actually may want to convert those now into fully functional firearms. Could a person theoretically walk into Guardian Arms and walk out of here with all of the stuff necessary to have a fully functional firearm?
Yes.
Okay, and how does that process work?
So if they say they bring in their upper receiver, we can hook them up with their barrel, their gas tube system, their gas block, grip, muzzle device, BCG, and charging handle. That would complete their upper.
Okay.
Their lower assembly, we can get them all the parts that they need for their lower. Now, once they do that, if they decide to assemble that and make that a full rifle, that's on them. I will not assemble any rifles. But I can.
Because the law clearly says that you cannot be doing that.
Right.
Okay. So if a person walked in here with a completed lower, okay, then really all you need to do is assemble from parts an upper receiver, which is really nothing more than a fancy chunk of metal.
Correct.
Okay. What they decide to do with it when they take it home is their prerogative.
That's all their business.
Okay. Okay. And if they come in here with no upper receiver and just a strip lower, you, through the combination of parts that you can sell, could turn that into a completed lower.
That's correct.
Okay, great. So for those people who really want to, check out Guardian Arms, how do they get a hold of you guys?
So they can come right down here at 208 South Division Street here in Moses Lake, or you can find us on Facebook, Guardian Arms Training, and then we have our website, guardian-arms.com.
Listen, I just wanted all of you to understand that the situation that we're talking about here at Guardian Arms, see, it's not unique to this particular FFL. There are hundreds and hundreds of small, independently run FFLs, many of which are serving rural communities. And if we lose those FFLs, then don't we all actually lose the ability to exercise what should be an inalienable right? Listen, you may have more questions about the real impacts of House Bill 1240 or anything else related to what's left of our Second Amendment rights. You guys should know how to get a hold of Washington gun law by now, but if you don't, that's okay. We'll put that information down in the description box. We'll also put all of Guardian Arms information down here. And I do ask you to check out the channel on YouTube, Guardian Arms Training. We got a really cool collaboration starting over there. In the meantime, I want all of you to remember that part of being the lawful and responsible gun owner, like we talk about all the time here, is to know what the law is in every situation and how it applies to you in any instance that you may find yourself. Until next time, thanks for watching and stay safe.